Hey everyone, welcome back to the class. In this class, we will have a look at the writing task 1 for general students. Let's dive right into it. The writing section for general students is a 20-minute task in which you have to prepare a letter for the given question. Quickly have a look at the writing format for you. You have computer delivered IELTS and paper delivered IELTS, in which writing is the third section for you. And out of 60 minutes of allocated for writing section, you have 20 minutes allocated for task 1 and 40 minutes allocated for task 2. In writing section task 1, you have to prepare a letter for general students, which is 150 words, which is different than a task 1 in academic, which is describing or explaining a graph. Depending on how well you do in your response, obviously, you will receive your band scores from 9 to 0 for writing section task 1. In 20 minutes of time, since you are preparing a letter, you have to manage your time. So first couple of minutes, you have to brainstorm the question. For a given letter question, you need to understand what the question is asked. If there's any details you need to provide to the letter question, are there any things you need to assume for the letter question? All of that has to be thought in your brainstorming time. In the next 10 to 12 minutes of time, you will try to prepare your response, type your response or write your response. In the last 1 to 2 minutes of time, you will proofread your response and then submit your answer. You have to prepare your response in 150 words minimum, which means if you write less, you will receive a penalty. If you want to write more, as much as 170 to 190 words should be ideal for you. Your letter can appear for you in 3 different ways or 3 different types. You can have formal letters, you can have semi-formal letters, and you can have casual letters. Formal letters are written to authority figures that are unknown to you. For example, principals, managers, interviewers. For example, in this question, you can see you're preparing a letter for applying a job in an English newspaper, and you're writing to the director of the museum. Your semi-formal letters can be written to authority figures who are known to you. So people you know who sit in authority positions. For example, landlords or landladies, teachers or instructors or shop owners. For example, you can see in this question, you're preparing a letter to your manager about an online training course. Your casual letters are written to people in your social circle. So they could be your friends, they could be your family, they could be colleagues who work with you, they could be your neighbors. For example, in this question, you can see you're writing a letter to your friend who want to visit. In any letter question, you are given the question with 3 sub-questions beneath it. You have to address all the questions given in your letter to receive maximum marks. Coming to marking of the letter question, let's have a quick look at that. You have 4 major criteria for marking section for task 1. You have task achievement, coherence and cohesion, lexical resource, and grammatical range and accuracy. These are again marked from a scale of 9 to 0. Depending on how well you do, you will receive your marks for that. To get 7 or 8 band scores in letter question, you need to make sure you cover the requirements of the task sufficiently. The requirements of the task, meaning the 3 sub-questions asked to you in the letter question. You have to provide a response to all 3 sub-questions. For general training, you have to make sure you present your letter with a clear purpose, and the tone of the letter is also consistent with the subject of the letter. The tone will represent the person you are writing the letter to. So for example, if you are writing a letter to the manager, your tone would be polite and requesting. If you're preparing a letter for your friend, your tone would be friendly and you will use vocabulary to represent that. Finally, make sure you provide your response in a clear and precise language, and you extend your points as well. To get higher band scores in coherence and cohesion, you need to make sure you're arranging your information in a sequential format. So provide responses one after another for each subpoint in consecutive paragraphs. First subpoint in the first subparagraph, second point in the second subparagraph, and the third point in the third subparagraph. Making sure you're providing a clear progression in them and using a range of cohesive devices, also known as connectors, to represent your letter. To get good band scores in lexical resource, you need to make sure you're using a wide range of vocabulary and you're providing some skillful lexical resources there. You're not making any spelling errors and you are choosing the words appropriately. Finally, for grammatical range and accuracy, to receive an 8 or a 7 band scores, you need to make sure you have a combination of simple and complex sentences. If you only use simple sentences, you may not get the required band score for this. Also, making sure you're providing your responses with accurate grammatical formats. Singulars, plurals, past tenses, present tenses, as per the requirement of the letter, you need to address your sentences accordingly. If you make a few grammar errors, you can still get 7 band scores. But if there are many grammar errors, you may reduce your band scores to 6. So depending on how well you're doing in your exam, for your marking criteria, the examiner will provide you your response. Let's dive into the letter question now. When you start your letter, you need to first address your subject. So the first part in any given letter would be the greetings or salutations used. If you're preparing a formal letter, you will use dear sir or dear ma'am as a greeting on your top right hand corner or top left hand corner. If you're using a semi-formal letter, then you need to write dear and followed by the last name of the person. So it could be dear Mr. Scott, dear Miss Thompson. And if you're preparing a casual letter, you can use dear with the first name of the person you're preparing it to. So it could be dear Anna, dear Steve. Once you've got your greeting or salutation, the next thing you will write is your first body paragraph or your introduction paragraph. Your introduction paragraph will be made up of 1 to 2 sentences, and in there you're going to include the introduction sentence, which is also known as a background sentence or a purpose sentence, and your response sentence. In your introduction sentence, if you're preparing a semi-formal or a formal letter, you will first introduce yourself to the subject. So you can use vocabulary such as I am followed by your full name, or my name is followed by your full name. If you're preparing a casual letter, on the other hand, you can simply address them and you can request for their health. You can ask how they are doing. You can thank them for writing back to you. The second thing you will write in your introduction sentence will be the purpose of your letter. So the reason you're writing the letter should be clearly mentioned, as it is part of your marking criteria. So you can use vocabulary such as I'm writing today to inform you, or to request from you, or to advise you. The second sentence you will write in your introduction paragraph will be the response to your sub-question number 1. Leave the details for the next paragraph. Simply provide a response to the question number 1 in the first body paragraph. Your second body paragraph will include the response to the second sub-question. So to do that, you have to elaborate your response. So within 2 to 3 sentences, you will first provide your main idea. You will support the idea. You will provide the secondary idea to that, and you will use connectors to do so. So you can start your body paragraph 2 with using words such as secondly, furthermore, to add to that, moreover, and within 2 to 3 sentences, provide your response to the second body paragraph, which is your second sub-question. Once you're done with that, you have to provide a response for body paragraph 3, which is your conclusion paragraph. In your conclusion paragraph, you will provide your response within 1 to 2 sentences, and you will provide the major response to question number 3 or the third sub-question for you. Provide some supporting statements and use concluding connectors to do so. So you can use words such as lastly, finally to summarize. Remember, your body paragraph 2 should be the biggest paragraph in a letter, including more details. In your conclusion paragraph, try not including new information. Once you've written your letter for 3 body paragraphs, you need to have finishing statements to provide a response or to request a response from your subject. So you can use a single sentence to do that, and depending on location, you can use vocabulary such as I'm awaiting your response, thank you for your cooperation, please write back to me, awaiting a response, or I'm excited to meet you or to see you. Finally, address your subject using a greeting or salutation. Again, if you're preparing a formal letter, use vocabulary such as yours faithfully followed by your full name, or yours trustworthy followed by your full name. If it's a semi-formal letter, use the word yours sincerely followed by your full name. And if it's a casual letter, use words such as yours lovingly or with regards followed by your first name. So in this manner, you can prepare any letter for the given question for task 1.